very, very long time. Money is keeping this man out of jail. His fame is keeping this man out of jail, and over and over and over. And guys, I agree with you. If I were to call a barista at Starbucks or McDonald's the N-word and get your blank, blank, blank ass out of here, or I'm going to kill you, I would be in jail for a hate crime. You would be in jail for a hate crime. Guys, the system is broken, all right? Terrell Suggs, yes, I am glad that you only got 100 hours of community service and you got probation. But brother, you flashed a gun at a barista at a Starbucks. For one, what is your problem? How pissed off in the world can you be for at Starbucks to flash a gun and say, I'm going to kill your cracker ass? Pussy cracker ass, my bad. But come on, y'all. Terrell Suggs, I hope you get the help that you need. I hope that anger management sets you on the right path. I hope that you are no longer calling people pussy ass crackers in a full voice. At least just say it under your breath, right? Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour.
What the?
Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go! What is up, Man Hour? Nation Baco Buckeyes are here with the Man Hour. It is April 3rd, 2025, 9:04 here on the East Coast time. Hope everybody's having a grand old day. It is Thursday edition of Man Hour NFL Talk, guys. We were replayed last night because we had tornadoes roll through the area. We had a total of 3 tornadoes roll through our area, 2 touchdowns, and now we have a lot of rain and flooding going on. The Ohio is supposed to crest like at 60 some odd feet by Saturday. It is nasty outside. It is nasty outside. If you are in the Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley, in the Midwest, Southern, guys, be safe out there. If you're in Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, guys, just be safe out there because it is nasty. We're getting a lot of rain. But guys, sit back, kick the feet up back because we got 2 hours of NFL, live, raw, uncut NFL talk today, guys, and we're going to talk about the mock drafts. We are going to talk about Shedeur Sanders going from potential number 2 overall pick all the way down to number 24. Slow it down, baby. What? And then the Dallas Cowboys. Guys, Jerry Jones said he is all in. Jerry Jones says he is all in, and they're going to make selective, aggressive moves, and the Dallas Cowboys did just that today. They did that today, and they went out and they snagged the guy that's going to shake their whole team up. They snagged the guy that is going to get him to the moon, baby. We're going to talk about that. Raiders are Super Bowl. What? Raiders are Super Bowl. What? Yes, guys, the Raiders are Super Bowl. Those are in the same mouth of Mark Davis's mouth. We're going to talk about that. And then we got over-under AFC South edition. We have all 4 AFC South teams with the projected wins of 9.5 for the Houston Texans, 7.5 for the Colts, 5.5 for the Titans, and then, of course, 7.5 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to determine that's over or under on that, get those betting things out there. And we got the best segment on Thursday called Did You See That? And every Thursday, guys, we go across the NFL landscape. We ask, did you see that? Did you see what happened? And then, of course, we're going to end the show with a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. Live interactive show, guys. Before we get together, we got to welcome some people in the chat. If you guys are watching us, hit that like button, hit the share button as well, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Old Man Rivers in the house. What's up, Old Man River, guys? Old Man River is a pigskin pundit. Be like Old Man River. Hit that membership tab, and bada bing, bada boom. You get a lot of perks. Perks. That's all it is. Let's go. Sports in the chat today says, what's up? What's up? Flashing back to 1997. The Taco Bell. What's up? The Taco Bell. What's up? What's up, sports? What's up? What's up? What's up? Got my man Alpha Rob in the chat today as well. Alpha Rob, kudos to you, good sir. Kudos to you. Your AFC East just got a hell of a lot easier. Joe Milton's gone. Got easier, baby. Easy come. Real McCoy says, easy come, easy go. He will not learn. Meaning Terrell Suggs. Listen. As a former athlete myself, as a former player that I was on top of the world, right? Like I was one of the top players in my state when I was in high school. I was a above average player in college, at the JUCO level, at the Division I level. I just never really panned out, right? But then I got on to the next chapter in my life in the CFL. Indoor football, I was on that high level, right? All-Star games, Pro Bowls, whatever you want to call it. Guys, it is a tough transition to where everybody knows your name. It is a tough transition to where you are on top of the world, where like you can just walk out and you can get a free hamburger. You can go get a free pair of shoes. You can do this, and this, right? It is a tough transition. And let's just be honest, Terrell Suggs has now been out of the NFL, what? For at least 10 years-ish. Many people do not know who he is. Hell, the only way I could probably recognize him, honestly, out in the real world is because his gums will overshadow his teeth by so much, and he'll just have like legs growing out of his shoulders. But yeah, Terrell Suggs will never learn. Hopefully, he does find a person in his life and be like, hey man, you're just stupid, right? It is just stupid. And like Alpha Rob says, I guess he's not much on sugar in his coffee and didn't like it. I don't like. Listen. Like I have been pissed off before in like in my life. I have been pissed off to the point where like I wanted to beat a baby back bitch, right? But I never in my wildest mind when I'm like, let me go to Starbucks. I wanted ice in my coffee. Like I never thought about putting a gun in your face or brandishing like, hey, do you see this? You want to keep it on your mouth? You see it? Like what? Like what? Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. And Old Man Rose says he was supposed to be intimidating. Like, listen, I will tell you guys something that my dad told me a long time ago. Now, there are only two things in this world that I fear. And one of them is being God, right? And then the other one being my dad. Like, I fear my dad. Like, it is a respectable fear, right? Because when I was, I don't know, 12 or 13, and me and my dad, I don't remember how we got up to this conversation, but like I said, don't you ever bring a knife to a gunfight? And he's like, well, if a MFer brings a gun, he better shoot to kill, because if you miss and you nick me, I'm just gonna be pissed off and I'm gonna kill you. Like, it's just, my dad's a very, very interesting individual. Pepe is in the chat. What's up, Pepe? Long time no see. He says, money, the bills, y'all, allows you different rules. It definitely allows you to play in that gray area, right? The money, the bills does keep you out of a lot of trouble. So let's just be honest about it. Let's go be honest. Mellow Mike says the gray cup. And then Mellow Mike says, make a joke on James Harrison. Yeah, I would advise not to make a joke on James Harrison. I feel like him squatting like 1,000 pounds and bending the bar could probably not be the best wise position out there. RPG Production, what's up, man? He says Patriots over 7.5 wins. We already talked about those Patriots, and I said it was going to be under, man. Let's go Sports says Shedeur Sanders should not fall to 24, because if he falls that far, the Steelers should get him at number 21. 21. Let's go Sports. You know what, man? That is where we're going to start today. That is where we're going to start today, and we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Shedeur Sanders himself. Guys, you guys kind of know my philosophy of like mock drafts, right? Like a lot of the mock drafts are out there strictly just to get clicks, to get likes, to get shares, to get the people talking. But there are some people out there that are very, very, very respectable in their mock drafts. These are the people that, get paid, make a living to make their mock drafts, aka Mel Kiper, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, right? USA Today, CBS Sports, Sports Illustrated, et cetera, right? But Lance Zierlein, he is also one of those guys. And Lance Zierlein is a mock draft that I tend to lean towards the most, right? So when I am talking about a potential mock draft of this person going here, this person going there, Lance Zierlein is usually the one that I am looking at. But in the most latest mock draft of Lance Zierlein, he has Shedeur Sanders dropping all the way down to 24th in this year's NFL draft. And at that 24th pick, he actually has the Cleveland Browns jumping back up, making a trade with the Minnesota Vikings to get Shedeur Sanders at 24. So, guys, do we think that Shedeur Sanders will drop out of the top 10? Not only drop out of the top 10, drop out of the top 15, drop out of the top 20, but drop all the way down to 2024 in this year's NFL draft. We spoke on this a couple days ago. It was a Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. This week is all kind of running together. It has been a crazy week. But I said the NFL draft for quarterbacks is like a college party. You get a bunch of drunk guys, a couple cutish girls walk in, and then all of a sudden, everybody and their dog wants that girl. Now, the next night we sober back, the next day we sober back up. We're like, whoa. And that's kind of what the NFL draft is. Right now, all of these owners, all of these general managers, all these coaches are kind of drunk. They're kind of getting a little tipsy, getting loose at the mouth, and that Shedeur Sanders, that's a brown bag special the next day. But right now, it's starting to look a little cute. I'm getting a little excited in the pants, right? Let's go, baby. Let's go. But Lance Jeremiah, 24th. Guys, the truth is, this year's quarterback draft sucks. It is weak. It is asinine. It is at 10. It is at 12. There are really only realistically 3 quarterbacks that will go in the first round, being Cam Ward, a player that wanted to go to a bowl game strictly to just break a record, did not care about winning, sat out in the second half and watched his team lose because he sat out. A Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart, which everybody's falling in love with Jackson Dart. Reminds me a lot of old Zach Wilson from just a couple years ago, right? But let's just be honest. Everybody that is in the NFL draft, I believe it was Let's Go Sports said this on Monday, that everybody's looking for the next Jaden Daniels. Everybody's looking for that next quarterback to come in there and be a quick fix. The point of the matter is guys, that Jaden Daniels was a right pick for the right team at the right time. Now, I am not saying that Jaden Daniels would be a terrible quarterback on any other team, but he would not have led said team to the NFC Championship. He would not have led said team to a Super Bowl or maybe even the playoffs. The Washington Commanders were definitely built up for success and basically a quarterback to come in and play much like the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. The truth is, for Jaden Daniels, it was a perfect spot in Washington. But when we look at this year's mock draft, I do not see Shedeur Sanders dropping out of the top 10. Hell, I probably don't even see Shedeur Sanders dropping out of the top 5. Once Cam Ward goes off the board, and if the Cleveland Browns go somewhere besides quarterback at the second overall pick, there's going to be a mad scramble to get up to number 3, potentially number 4, or number 5. There's going to be that mad scramble either by the Steelers or maybe by the Cleveland Browns to get back up there, maybe the Saints. There's going to be a group of people calling whoever owns that third overall pick, which is the Giants, right? They're going to be calling the Giants up, hey, right? Every drunk guy at that college party is now so wasted, and the one last semi-cute girl is out there when really she's a brown bag special, right? She is a butterface. Everything's nice butterface. And I can't even look at her face because she's so guys, Shedeur Sanders is not going to go out of the top 10. He is not going down to 24. Lance Zierlein, I respect your hustle, man. I respect you getting in there, doing the gritty work, and letting me look at your mock draft each and every week. I like you. I respect you, but Shedeur Sanders is not going 24th, guys. What do you guys think? Will Shedeur Sanders go 24th overall to the Cleveland Browns? Actually, let's just take one step further. Will Shedeur Sanders drop out of the top 10? That is the question. Real McCoy says, with Sanders, the only thing you're getting with him is his last name. And Real McCoy, I would have been with you on this comment before last season. I would be with you on this comment before I actually sat down and watched the film of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders led all of Big 12 in yardage and touchdowns and pass completions with a terrible offensive line. The Colorado Buffaloes, they have all the athletes, but their line is terrible. The Colorado Buffaloes had Travis Hunter, yes, had Jimmy Horn Jr., right? Had Shedeur Sanders, obviously they had all the talent in the world, and he put up those numbers. The offensive line was terrible. And then if you flash back the year before that, at Jackson State, his freshman and sophomore year, right? Their line was even worse. Yes, they had a couple athletes here or there, but Shedeur Sanders is not a terrible quarterback. He has a lot of room to grow. He has a lot of flaws that need to be fixed. He has a lot of fundamentals that can be honed in, and he could be a pliable quarterback in the NFL for a very, very long time. You're getting more than just his last name. Now, you are getting his last name. You are getting that everything that comes with the primetime last name, aka Sanders, right? You are going to get all of that. But at the same time, sex sells. Shedeur Sanders right now is sexy. New York is looking for that sexy guy. Cleveland's looking for that sexy guy. The Dallas Cowboys are looking for that sexy guy, even though they got one. And Joe Milton would slow it down, but right. But slow it down, but let's just saw it. Let's Go Sports says, I don't necessarily know if I want Shedeur Sanders, but we need to win now, and I think he can develop and give us a better chance than Rodgers. I'd rather draft a quarterback next year, but we need to win now, meaning the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shedeur Sanders will not go down to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just like, if you're sitting at 21, I believe is where the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting are in this year's draft, right? He is not going to go past number 5 or number 10, 100%. Now, I am not saying that the Giants need a quarterback. I'm not saying that the Jets need a quarterback, or the Browns or the Saints or the Raiders or whoever else is like up there. But we all get a little quarterback happy. We all got a little antsy. We all kind of need that quarterback, right? Can I get one of those quarterbacks? And it's going to happen. Mellow Mike says, I like Lance. He can talk good shit. Lance, like, what Lance are you referring to? Like, oh, Lance Zierlein. Okay, my bad. Yeah, he definitely holds his own. Pepe says, if Sanders goes to the Steelers, he is destined to finish 9-8 for his entire career. Pepe, you're not wrong. As long as Mike Tomlin is the head coach in Pittsburgh, they're going to go 9-8. Hey, they might get crazy. They might have an X factor a year, go 10-7. But he will never be a losing quarterback, right? Never be a losing quarterback. Let's Go Sports says he is good, but his arm strength is questionable. That is true as well. But I want you to go to his highlight film. He is playing against Nebraska. It's the third game of the season. I think it's the Nebraska game. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders is a right-handed quarterback, right? He is scrambling to his left. His body is facing the sideline. His chest is facing the sideline. I believe it's J.C. Horn or Jimmy Horn. It's Horn Jr. I don't know his first name. I can't remember if it's J.C. or Jimmy. But Horn Jr. is running it appears to me like a big, long, and comeback route, right? So I don't know if Shedeur underthrew him and Horn come back to it, but it appeared that they were on the same page. Sanders is facing his chest toward the sideline. He rotates the hips all in one motion, rockets it about 50 yards down the field. That is pure arm strength. That is pure talent. Now, he is not going to be able to throw a ball 80 yards into the wind, right? but he definitely has some arm talent, some arm skill. You cannot teach the pure athletic ability like that move was. Alpha Rob says he's going to be no. So Alpha Rob wants to say nope. Here, I got this new little thing. Let's see if it works here.
Alpha Rob says, no, he's going to be too hype up for that to happen.
So I'm still kind of working on this little bot. Like I'm an amateur programmer on the side. So guys, like a little bit about me. I work IT. I nerd out about IT, and I've been working on this little bot. But Alpha Rob says no, he is going to be too hyped for that to happen. Meaning he's like his name is going to be too big. There's going to be so much hype around him to drop out of the top 10. And Alpha Rob, I do agree with you on that. Mello Reich says the quarterback class sucks this year. Glad I have a quarterback. Guys, Mellow Mike is a Houston Texans fan. He is a CJ Stroud fan. He thinks CJ Stroud is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Pepe says if Sanders goes to the Steelers, he is destined to be 9-8 for his ever career. Popped up again. But I agree with you. Let's Go Sports says, I'll be honest. Let's Go Sports says, let me break down the shield. Let me take my bias out of it. Let me be honest. I was a Jaden Daniels doubter. I'm disappointed in myself. But then Jaden Daniels proved me wrong. And I'm proud of him for that. I was super worried when they played him and glad we beat him. Listen, Jaden Daniels had a hell of a season last year. Now, obviously, we have film on him. Now, obviously, he's a little bit longer in the tooth. Now, this year's his proving ground, right? There's such thing as a sophomore slump. Let's see how he can go. Oh, man, Rivers of pigskin plenty, guys.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
He says Shador Sanders will go in the first 10. Shador Sanders will be a top 10 NFL buck. You're right. You're right, old man River. Mellow Mike says Sanders best embrace the suck. Pack your bags. You're going to Cleveland, baby. Oh, man. That is quarterback hell. Where is James Frank at? Somebody get James Frank on the horn. Somebody check his pulse, because there are two places in the NFL you do not want to go if you are a quarterback, especially a quarterback. One of them being the New York Football Giants or Jets. The second one being the Cleveland Browns. And Mike says, look, Shador Sanders is going number 2 overall. Hell, the Cleveland Browns might jump up to number 1 and get Shador Sanders just to make sure he comes to quarterback hell. Pepe says Colonel Sanders is going to get fried in Cleveland. Listen, guys, you all might be right. When we sit back here and we think of the Cleveland Browns, they're a dumpster of a fire team. Every time they have a little bit of a success, they try to kick in the door. They crack in the door. Baker Mayfield, like 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, right? Kicked in the door. Took the Browns to the playoffs since the first time since like 1985 or whatever the hell it was. Went on the road and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in a wild card game. Everybody's saying Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns, and what they do, they trade Baker Mayfield on and bring in Deshaun Watson. Oh, we got Deshaun Watson, baby. Let's go. Deshaun Watson played, like 10 games the last 3 years, whatever, 4 years it was. Yes, they did make the playoffs again a couple years ago with Joe Flacco on fifth string quarterback. But stop it. Cleveland is a dumpster fire of a team, of an organization. We need a G League just so the Cleveland Browns can suck in there too, but they're not on TV, sucking up the rest of the NFL brand. Let's Go Sports says, I don't know who his pro comparison is, but my guess would be like Justin Herbert or Bo Nix, meaning Shador Sanders. So the one thing that a lot of us are going to assume and see, and the average viewer, the average NFL guy that has never watched Shador Sanders play, what they're going to see is they're going to see, oh, a black quarterback, he has to have speed, he has to have scramble ability, he has to do this, and this, right? Justin Herbert has a hell of an arm. Hell of an arm. I don't think Shedeur Sanders matchups well as our talent with Shedeur Sanders. Bo Nix might be spot on because Bo Nix does have that strongish arm. He can make those deep throws if he has to. He would prefer not to. He doesn't have great scrambling ability. And I think, given some time of whatever team Shedeur Sanders goes to, give him some time, we are going to see him start to step up and challenge whatever head coach is there, much like Bo Nix did with Sean Payton in Denver. So if there is a comparison, Bo Nix and Shedeur Sanders, Let's Go Sports, you might be spot on. I like your analysis. I like where your head is at right there. That is a good comparison. Mellow Mike says Tent McMillan wishes he was a quarterback. That drop wouldn't be that far. Best he get a safety net being ready. Probably. I'm just afraid to draft a fantasy, to get antsy with drafting a quarterback with that happened with Kenny Pickett. Terrible quarterback class. He was a first off the board for quarterbacks at 20 and failed. Purdy has been the only good quarterback. Yeah, the class of 2020 is pretty rough, right? However, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in kind of a favorable situation. For one, Shedeur Sanders is not going to fall to 21. Let's just put that out there. Jackson Dart is not going to fall to 21 either. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to draft a quarterback, it's going to be in the 4th or 3rd round with Will Howard or Milroe. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest that Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh. Let's just be honest. You still have Mason Rudolph. I don't anticipate the Steelers drafting a quarterback on day 1 or day 2. Mellow Reich saying you don't like football. That downright un-American. You say you don't like film. That's just dumb. I like it. I like it a lot. I think Shedeur's a good kid and wants to compete, but watching him and listening to him a little, I think he gets caught up in the money. I've watched this. I watched Silo, his older brother, YouTube vlogs, and I see it. So people in this world are a product of their environment. I see it in my sister a lot, right? So my sister has 3 sets of friends, right? She has her black friends, she has her work friends, which are mainly white, and then she has her like family friends, right? When she hangs out repetitively with these sets of friends over here, she would come home and she would have this little twang in her voice, like just like a little bit of swagger and a little she was just annoying as fuck, right? Let's just be honest. I'm gonna call you out, sister. You are annoying as fuck. And then she would come out and hang out with the family, and then all of a sudden she would become proper again, and she would have a southern twang, and then like stop it. So what I'm saying is maybe Shedeur Sanders is a product of that system. Maybe being around the Coach Prime thing and Shiloh and Deion Sanders, is it senior, junior, right? Being around that family, being around the money, being around the fame and the vlogs, and having to put on a act for the camera. Maybe once he separates himself from that, goes to New York, goes to Cleveland. Cleveland might be a perfect spot for him. Now the limelight is no longer on you. Maybe, just maybe, he will change and become a professional guy. Maybe, just maybe, he will all of a sudden become a Southern accent type of person. Maybe, just maybe, he won't, quote, act so black. Maybe. And Mellow Mike says, Sanders probably compares to Geno Smith the best. Ugh, that's harsh, baby. That's harsh. Oh, man, River.
Big skin pun. Get you some.
Says Nix is the better quarterback than Sanders. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get too crazy. I do remember Bo Nix throwing for like 117 yards versus the New York Jets in a loss, right? So let's just not get crazy about that. We'll see what Bo Nix does his sophomore year, and let's see Shedeur Sanders as a NFL pro, right? Let's Go Sports says debatable, but I think I made a good comparison with it. I see what you're saying with Knicks, though, being better, though. Let's Go Sports is calling out Old Man River. Old Man River. And Real McCoy says, let's just be honest. Let's be 100% honest with ourselves. He says, if Sanders had a different last name, he would get lost in the shuffle, get lost in the sauce. Maybe in 2024 in an NFL draft, yes. But this 2025 NFL draft, he's a second or third ranked quarterback, no matter his name, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. Now let's talk about the real big move, guys. Let's talk about the move that has shooken up the NFL. Let's talk about the great Dallas Cowboys. That's right, I said the great Dallas Cowboys and their huge offseason moves. Guys, the Dallas Cowboys have finally made a huge offseason splash. I mean, they dove in, they wanted the guy, and they cherry-picked him in hell. They even overpaid for this man. Guys, Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys traded a 5th-round pick to the New England Patriots for a 6th-round pick from last year in Joe Milton III. That is right. You heard that right. The Dallas Cowboys gave the New England Patriots a 5th-round pick for a quarterback that the Patriots drafted in the 6th round in last year's 2024 NFL draft. A player that was probably not even going to make the team. A player that was going to probably be a casualty. A player that doesn't move anybody's needle. Doesn't tickle my pickle. New England Patriots fans hate him for winning the last game of the season. But the Dallas Cowboys went out there, guys, and they made the splash. Guys, how big a move is this for the Dallas Cowboys? How NFL landscape changing is Joe Milton III to the Dallas Cowboys to the rest of the NFL? Guys, let's just be flat honest that the Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl caliber team. They are 3 players away. That's why I said 3 players away of being a Super Bowl caliber team. Now, this offseason, they did lose their backup quarterback in Cooper Rush to the Baltimore Ravens. They kind of just let him walk. They also lost their 3rd-string quarterback in Trey Lance. As Trey Lance doesn't have any deal offers or any conversations, I think the last time I heard he was going to become a CFL Winnipeg Blue Bomber, but they let him walk as well. So the quarterback room in Dallas was pretty weak. You had Will Grier and Dak Prescott, the only quarterbacks on the roster as of today, before today's trade. Now, Joe Milton III did play in 1 game last season, right? Joe Milton III came out and balled out against the Buffalo Bills, baby. He beat down the Buffalo Bills. He said, bring that ass here, boy. And Joe Milton III waxed that ass. Talking to you, Alpha Rob. I'm talking to your Buffalo Bills. They said, bring that ass here, boy. And they said, go home with it. This is my house. Joe Milton went 22 for 29 for 41 yards with 1 tutty. Granted, it was week 18. Granted, the Buffalo Bills had all their 3rd-string starters. And granted, the New England Patriots were trying to tank that game. That's why Joe Milton got put in there. Granted, nobody watched that game. But Joe Milton came out and balled out, baby. Guys, this is a huge move for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a huge move for them. This puts them back in the spotlight. The light on Jerry Jones was kind of fading a little bit. Let's just be honest. Why is this move so big? Because this further proves that Jerry Jones is the worst general manager in all of sports. This move right here shows that Jerry Jones should no longer be competent of running his business, no longer being the owner, no longer making executive decisions for the Dallas Cowboys. The last 2 seasons, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Dallas Cowboys organization has overpaid for players that the other team just didn't want them. Who is that receiver from the Carolina Panthers? It was, the name's slipping my mind. Jerry Jones came out and said, I wanted him in the 2nd round of the draft or whatever, 3rd round, right? They ended up passing on him. I think the Carolina Panthers picked him up in the 4th or 5th round. He was basically going to be cut. And then I was like, no. Let me give you a 3rd round pick for this man. Now he's doing it with Joe Milton III. Hey, listen, Robert. I know we're out here smoking the cigars, drinking the stogies, and and we're looking at these young women that Bill Belichick has. That Joe Milton III. I know. You guys drafted him in the 6th round last season. I know you're probably going to cut him in camp. But hey, what if I give you a 5th round pick for that man? Robert Kraft's like, Jerry, you know I'm getting massaged right now, right, boy? You know that I'm going to get rid of a happy ending. If you give me a 5th round pick for Joe Milton III, damn it, my blue pill about to wear off. Guys, Jerry Jones needs to be fired. Jerry Jones needs to fire himself. Worst general manager in football. Guys, how big a move was Joe Milton III for a 5th round pick to the Dallas Cowboys? How big a move was that for the Dallas Cowboys? Let's Go Sports says, for once, good move by Jerry. But it won't be impactful unless Dak gets hurt. But he usually does it so it's impactful. Let's not get too caught up, though. He's very athletic, but had a stretch a game at 10. Had a stretch game at 10. So Let's Go Sports says this is a huge move. If I'm gathering of what you're saying, Let's Go Sports, you were saying you love this move by the Dallas Cowboys. You said this is game-changing move. This is landscape-changing. Let's Go Sports, you understand that Joe Milton III is going to be probably a 4th-string quarterback on this Dallas Cowboys roster. Maybe 3rd, depending on if they draft a guy or like or not. Will Greer is definitely better than Joe Milton III. He does have some athletic ability. He has the ability to be a receiver or a safety. Unless Jerry Jones is putting him in some type of wildcat package, putting him as a receiver or whatever, right? Like, I don't see a lot of things happening. Because wildcat packages are dead and gone. Wildcat packages are terrible, right? Terrible. Maybe, right? Pepe says Jimmy Johnson gets more legendary with every decision Jerry Jones makes. Not wrong. Like, if Jerry Jones did not have such a big ego, if Jerry Jones would have let the world write his course with Barry Switzer and or Jimmy Johnson, either or, right? Let's just be flat out honest. If Jerry Jones could have took a step back, think about how great they could have been. Like, legitimately. Like, how great could the Dallas Cowboys have been if Jerry Jones just could have took a step back and not been in the limelight for 10 years? Just think about it. Would we have seen the greatness of Tom Brady and the New England Patriots? Would we have seen the birth of the Packers? And like, it's just crazy to think. Like, if he could have taken a step back, check his ego of what could happen. Real McCoy says Cowboys will not be a winning team with Jerry Jones calling the shots. Real McCoy, I am with you on this. General manager Jerry Jones is terrible. I hate him. The worst general manager in football, period. But he is one of the best owners in the NFL. He is the best at selling his brand, selling his product, making the Dallas Cowboys sexy, even though despite having not winning a Super Bowl since 1996, with them, we're almost 30 years. But yet we're still talking about him. But yet they're still headlining those. And they're still America's team. If Jerry Jones could just fire himself from general manager or be an assistant general manager or something, just not call the official shots. They need to check and balances. Alpha Rob says Jerry Jones out here wheeling and dealing. He is, man. He is out here. They're smoking on their stogies. They're drinking out their Evan Williams bourbon, getting back rubs, looking at 25-year-old women's paying the $4.99 for OnlyFans to get blue balls to shoot out dust. Crazy. Alpha Rob said Joe went in for business for himself. So Joe Milton is the one that contacted Jerry Jones, like, hey, bring me here. Is that what you're saying, Alpha Rob? Is there some validity to that? Like, Don't be talking crazy now. Don't be talking crazy. Mellow Mike says Joe Milk Toast the third going to grab Dak's job. Slow it down, baby. Mellow Mike, my man, you need to take your chill pill, brother. You need to go back in that corner and you need to mellow out. You need to put some of that yellow drink in there and mellow the yellow out. Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Dak Prescott will be a Super Bowl winning quarterback before C.J. Stroud, before Joe Burrow, before Lamar Jackson, before Kyler Murray, before Brock Purdy, before Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love. The list goes on and on and on. Dak Prescott will get a ring before all of those guys. He's a top 5 quarterback. Put some respect on the man's name. If Dak Prescott was in any other team, you put him on the Cleveland Browns, you put him on the Giants, you put him on the Dolphins, the Panthers, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, and he puts up the numbers that he does, we are all praising the man. We have one hand on his nuts, the other hand on his big old cockaboo, and say, man, you are awesome. We love you, Dak. Jonathan Mingo. Thank you, Mellow Mike. That's the guy's name. Jonathan Mingo was the receiver that they overpaid for last season. Jonathan Mingo, that had like 2 catches for the Cowboys last season. Let me confirm that. He is back on the Cowboys roster, by the way, for this season. He played in 8 games. So he started 1 game, had 16 targets on 5 catches for 46 yards, 9.2 yards per carry, and 2 first downs. Boy, that's worth that 3rd round pick. Tell you what, brother. Tell you what. Jesus. Oh, man, River.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
He says, first off, his pro season was profitable. Sanders is a roll of the dice. This will tell. First off, his pro season was profitable. Sanders is a roll of the dice. Okay. Yes, Sanders does have Shador Sanders has a very, very high ceiling, but a very low floor as well. I agree with you, old man River. Mellow Mike says Jerry Jones needs to fire his plastic surgeon. Is my man really getting plastic surgery? Is my man really getting plastic surgery? I mean, I think he's getting a little bit of Botox. He's getting that Botox to help with those migraines. But is he getting plastic surgery? I think just crazy. Pepe says, I'm hoping Joe Milton III balls out so I can watch Jerry give him a 6-year, $350 million contract. Listen, it is April 3rd, 9:45 p.m. here on the East Coast time. Here in Louisville, Kentucky, middle of the Ohio Valley, in the middle of a monsoon out there. Hell, we could have a tornado warning outside, and I don't even know. I got noise canceling headphones on. If Dak Prescott, God forbid, happens to go down, whether it's his hamstring again or ankle or broken leg or ACL or whatever, like, I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but if Joe Milton comes in and he balls out, if I see Jerry Jones pay Joe Milton that kind of money, the Dallas Cowboys will never have another winning season. Never. Calling a spade a spade. Real McCoy says Jerry Jones is playing checkers while everybody else is playing chess. Real McCoy, I like your analogy and I love it. But Jerry Jones is playing tic-tac-toe while everybody else is playing chess. They could be playing 40 chess over there in Kansas City and Philadelphia and Baltimore. 57% of the other league is playing chess, and then you have a team like the Jaguars and the Colts and the 49ers all playing checkers. The Dallas Cowboys are playing tic-tac-toe. And Jerry Jones isn't even playing with X's and O's. He's playing with C's and D's. Like, it's stupid. Stupid. Miller Mike says, which adequate quarterback or running back is Jerry Jones signing this season? I hear Herschel Walker is still in shape. Mellow Mike, you didn't hear that Jonathan Williams said him and Myles Garrett are the best running back duo in the NFL? You didn't hear that? you didn't hear that? Crafty and Mays, what's up, man? What's up? It says, what happened? What happened was Jerry Jones traded a 5th-round pick to the New England Patriots for Joe Milton III. That's what happened. And it's stupid. It's asinine. And Jerry Jones needs to be fired. Fire the general manager, Jerry Jones, now, owner Jerry Jones. Fire yourself, man. Let's go. Sports says Cowboys ain't winning the Super Bowl till Jerry Jones is gone. So no more really matters. He just brings in a bunch of money and doesn't use it wisely. And let me speak logically here. Let me take my Cowboys hater hat off for a second. I broke up with the Dallas Cowboys last week or last season. We broke up. We had a very long-term, equitable relationship. We had some great milestones. We had some great anniversaries. We had some highs and we had some lows. But last year I finally just said, you know what, Dallas Cowboys, we need to go our separate ways. It's not you. It is me. But realistically, guys, the Dallas Cowboys are 3 players away from going to a Super Bowl. They are 3 players away on offense of going to the Super Bowl. They need to fill that left tackle void. They need a decent running back. Whether it's a top 5, top 10 running back, it don't really matter. They need a decent running back, and then they need then they need a solid number 2 receiver. So left tackle, running back, and a number 2 receiver. The Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl caliber team. Their roster is there. Their defensive roster is there. As long as you run away from Myles Garrett or run away from Micah Parsons, he likes to chase down. You don't like you running at him. As long as the Dallas Cowboys can score about 20, 25 points per game, jump out early, get that 7, 10-point lead game after game with a nice number 2 receiver, whether it be Amari Cooper, it could have been Stephon Diggs or potentially Tyler Lockett. I don't know. I know Diggs with the Patriots now, but a left tackle, I don't know who. Do you draft him? I don't know. A running back, maybe Gentry falls down to 12. I don't know. But they are 3 guys away. They are 3 days away. Mellow Mike says, I give Jerry Jones this. He can draft offensive line. Mellow Mike, the Dallas Cowboys do draft offensive linemen well. The last 4 or 5 drafts, actually prior to the last two drafts, so not 2024 or 2023, but from 22 till about 18, the Dallas Cowboys were drafting very, very well. Van Der Esch, right? Sean Lee, you had Smith. They had a great drafts, right? But you know who was leading those drafts? It was not Jerry Jones. Stephen Jones was heading those drafts. Stephen Jones was making the final calls. Jerry's like, hey, Stephen, you think you can do better? Do this, right? Stephen Jones was doing better. The Dallas Cowboys were going on the right track. They started to gain a little bit of momentum, and then people found out that Stephen Jones was the one drafted. Jerry's like, oh, no. This is my team. This is my team. And there's like what old man Rivers says, Jerry's ego got the better of him. And that's what happened the last 2 seasons. That Jerry Jones has been drafted, and you see what the Dallas Cowboys are at. World of hurt. No, by winning that Week 18 game. Alpha Rob, you still better about that Week 18 game too? Go Sports says, I don't think they're America's team anymore. They are America's clowns. Steelers are actually first to be named America's team, but they said no. Just a fun fact, I guess. And I know that is a fun fact. I know that is a fun fact, but truth of the matter is the Dallas Cowboys are must-talk TV. I guarantee you, if I were to relabel this live stream or when I clip it and I put Dallas Cowboys are great, I'm going to get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views just because of the Dallas Cowboys name alone. I can take that same video, the same clip, the same live, and put Pittsburgh Steelers are Super Bowl bound. And that's going to get 100, 200, 500 views. Because people love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. It is what it is. Crafty and May says Falcons 10 wins, over or under. We will talk about the Falcons tomorrow. We're doing AFC South over under. And then tomorrow we'll do the NFC South. But I can tell you they're not going to be very good. Old Man River says Dak to Cleveland. Slow it down, baby. We talked about that, Old Man River, and you all call me stupid. Jerry has a vision. Why doesn't no one else see it? Jerry Jones is like that third. Jerry Jones is bipolar and he's talking to himself. Miller Mike says, did this man just say 3 players or 3 decades? 3 players, baby. Dallas Cowboys are 3 players away. 3 players away from going to the Super Bowl. Let's Go Sports says, if the Cowboys want to have a good next couple of seasons, they will draft well this year. They have to draft well this year. They have to draft Micah Parsons' replacement because he is not going to sign a deal. They can't afford to sign him a deal. If they don't win this season, Dak Prescott's going to probably want out. CeeDee Lamb's going to probably want out. And Turpin's going to be your number 1 guy. Pepe says, didn't Jerry try to negotiate directly with Parsons and circumvent the CBA? I'm not for sure on that. I'd have to do some research on that, Pepe, but I do know that Jerry Jones did say that Micah Parsons' contract is not a priority right now. We posted that on our Facebook page a couple days ago at the owners meeting, or the not the owners meeting, the coaches meeting. I think it's called the NFL meetings now. But Jerry Jones said that Micah Parsons is not a priority. So if you want to go that route, talk about that route. But I don't know. It is what it is. Next up, guys, the Las Vegas Raiders. Speaking of the NFL meetings, everybody and their dogs that is a media outlet was out there talking to owners, coaches, and trying to get the scoop, right? And a particular reporter loves them some Las Vegas Raiders. This particular reporter has been a Raiders fan per se for the last 40 some odd years. And he asked the Raiders owner, Mark Davis, he was asked if the Raiders can win a Super Bowl this season. And Mark Davis says, I don't know, but it's possible. It's possible we can get to the Super Bowl this year. When I heard that, I'm like, guys, how close are the Raiders to winning a Super Bowl? As a matter of fact, how close are the Raiders getting to a Super Bowl? Let's just be honest. I want to put this disclaimer out there. I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Through and through, I bleed yellow and red. Been a Chiefs fan my whole life. For the last 35 years, I have been a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Let's just be flat out honest about it, right? But the Las Vegas Raiders have been bad the last few seasons. Last year, they were 4-13. Like I said they would be, but they finished at 4-13. Ended up firing their coach, Antonio Pierce, which was the man, the myth, the legend. Everybody loved him. He's going to turn around this team. Tom Brady's going to save us. Just stop it. The year before that, they were 8-9 in 2024. Actually, 2023. But they did end the season on the 3-game winning streak. Actually, they won 3 of 4 versus teams that are basically playing for nothing. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs Christmas Day. Sure, they were not playing for nothing. The Kansas City Chiefs were at the lowest of the low points at that particular time. You couldn't beat a bad Indianapolis Colts team that was playing for something. So stop it. And then in 2022, they went 6-11. Not very, very good. They had potential. They reached their potential, and then they get knocked back down. Let's just be fun and honest. But guys, this year, everything's on the up and up, right? They got their new coach. They got Pete Carroll. They got their quarterback. They traded for Geno Smith. But they lost some heart and soul on the defense. They lost some of their big defensive players. Last year, they had the 27th ranked offense and the 15th ranked defense. Guys, the truth is the Las Vegas Raiders have a lot of holes to fill. They need linebackers. They need running backs. They need offensive line. They need wide receiver. And they're going to need a quarterback in a couple years as well. As Geno Smith just sign a 2-year, $46 million deal, I believe it was, upwards to 86. But they need receiver, linebacker, running back, and offensive line. So Mark Davis, it is not possible that the Raiders make the Super Bowl this season. It is not possible that the Las Vegas Raiders make the playoffs this season. It is not possible that the Las Vegas Raiders are anything but dead last in the AFC West. The Raiders are a long, long ways away from a Super Bowl. They're even further away from an AFC West championship. They're even further away from beating a competitive team year after year after year. Now, Geno Smith could have a freak year. Jacoby Myers can go off and he could be a top 5 guy, right? But that freak year and going off and whatever, it might equivalent to 8 wins, maybe 9. Guys, they're so far away, it is not even funny. They are so far away that Jerry Jones has the better chance of taking over the ownership of the Las Vegas Raiders and leading them to the Super Bowl. Let's just be honest, guys, but what do you guys think? How close are the Las Vegas Raiders to winning a Super Bowl? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years? My personal opinion. Now, let me fact check myself here real quick because I think Pete Carroll's, 76 years old? 73 years old. So Pete Carroll is 73 years old. His birthday is January 24th. Happy late birthday. Happy belated birthday, as I like to say. Sorry, no. September 15th is when his birthday. So he'll be 74 by the time the NFL season starts. Guys, by the time I'm 73, 74, I hope to be retired. I hope to be sitting in my recliner, feet up, cursing at the kids for walking on my grass. Pete Carroll is not going to be coaching for very much longer. So let's say they're decent in 3 years. Pete Carroll gets them there, turns it around. Geno Smith's balling out. They get Ashton Gentry. They bring Amari Cooper back, and they're balling out, and they're making a Super Bowl run. They'll have to redo everything again in 4 years. 4 years, anyways. Pete Carroll is going to be gone. You can put in Chip Kelly, sure. He's going to get ran out of town like he did in Philly and Washington and San Francisco, and go back to college and succeed and run out. Guys, the Raiders are far away. Let's go. Sports says Jerry's vision is 30 years down the road. It is. Too bad he's not going to live that long, unfortunately. Let's Go Sports says the closest playoff seed they are is maybe a 7th seed. And honestly, Let's Go Sports, they're not even close to a 7th seed. You can look at the AFC right now, and you can say, going from east to west, the Buffalo Bills are going to win the East. Texans will win the South. Chiefs will win the West. Ravens will win the North. There's your 4. Then you have wild cards, right? Let's slide in there the Jacksonville Jaguars in there, potentially, right? Then you have the Broncos. You have the Chargers. Hell, you have the Steelers. You have the Bengals. You could potentially have the Browns. You could potentially have the Jets. The Raiders are the last thing on my mind when I think about 7th seed. I would be more willing to put the Patriots up there before I put the Raiders up there in a 7th seed, right? Miller Mike says, you think that Mark Davis could afford a decent haircut? Mike, this is the end thing, bud. This is just the old man mullet. That is all it is. It's just the old man mullet. He's living life. He's loving life. Have you seen his girlfriend? He's doing better than all of us. He's doing better than all of us. Let's Go Sports says the Geno Smith trade was good, but the extension was a mistake. Yes. I actually got into a Facebook debate and X debate. If you guys are following us on Facebook, head over to facebook.com/manhour NFL Talk. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at manhour_buck as well. But I was having a civilized conversation, in my opinion. But I said, what has Geno Smith done to earn the extension? Well, he took the Seahawks to the playoffs in 2022. Awesome. He lost that playoff game. Since then, he has not been to the playoffs. They haven't even sniffed the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Geno Smith is a good bridge gap quarterback when he's 36 years old, right? 35. I would have had him play out his contract and then figured it out. But maybe they're anticipate he's going to blow up. I don't know. I don't know. Real McCoy says the Raiders owner is drinking the Kool-Aid again. If you're going to dream big. I mean, in his defense, he said, "I don't know. It is possible." Also, later in that quote, he did say this is the best part of the season because we're in first place. So, like, I mean, he understands he doesn't have a great team, right? I think, right? Miller Mike says the KC fears Brock Bowers. Man, y'all missed out on Kelsey's replacement, and now he wears silver and black. Ouch. We definitely did not miss out on Travis Kelsey's replacement. There was no way Brock Bowers was dropping down to the 32nd overall pick last season. It just wasn't going to happen. If the Raiders wouldn't have taken him, the Lions would have, or so if the Raiders wouldn't have taken him at 10th overall, wasn't it? The next team in 11th would have done it. Sports says talking about not coaching for much longer. What about Reed? He's still winning Super Bowls, but he's getting old. I feel like it would be a surprise and not surprise retirement whenever it does happen soon. So Andy Reid is getting old, and of course he is not in the best shape of his life. But he did just sign another 3-year extension, if I'm not mistaken. So Andy Reid's only 67 years old. So in theory, he could probably coach for about 5 more years, right? If you're up with Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick and the rest of those boys. But the writing is on the wall. Once Mike Tomlin becomes a free agent coach, Kansas City Chiefs will scoop him up and bring him into town. Real McCoy says Pete Carroll brings stability. He is starting to build the future. Real McCoy, first of all, thanks for your comment, man. I definitely appreciate you guys joining us here. The everydayers and picks and punnets and like whatnot. But when you are a NFL head coach, right? You have your core group of guys that you like, you coach with, etc. Right? So I was a part. So my coaching story, right? I was a linebacking coach over at a 6A high school, right? We developed a nice little staff, a nice little core over there at Floyd Central High School, right? When the head coach left to go to greener pastures per se, we were a very successful program over there. We were winning regional titles, semi-state, state titles, etc. We could just never get over that hump, and our head coach at the time thought that the grass was greener on the other side. When he went to that new job, he brought 6 of us over there to this new job. The people that did not come here stayed on the old staff, but then they quickly got fired. So what I'm saying is Pete Carroll you can build your staff, you can bring your stability, you can do whatever you want. But once Pete Carroll leaves the Raiders coaching position and a new head coach, new general manager, etc., comes into place, you can have that foundation, but the new head coach is going to want to have his people. Chip Kelly, he is obviously a part of the Raiders coaching staff as of right now, right? You could elevate him into the head coaching staff. You could have the same group of guys there, but Chip Kelly is going to want his guys. Bring them in. And then all of a sudden, now you have to build a whole culture back over again. So you can have a nice stability, nice culture for 3 or 4 years, awesome. But at the end of the day, once he leaves, it's going to affect everything. I think I'm saying it right. Let's Go Sports says any coach after Reed is set up for a future with Mahomes. And if we are talking about the Kansas City Chiefs here, I think you are 100% correct. I think when Andy Reid does ultimately retire, he is 67 years old. He has several Super Bowl rings. He has been around the block. He's been there, done that, right? I think ultimately when Andy Reid does leave, Patrick Mahomes and Brett Beach will sit down and they will cherry pick their own guy. Patrick, who do you like? Brett is obviously going to have the final decision, and the Hunts family, right, will definitely have the final decision. But Patrick Mahomes will definitely have a very big play into that. Will it affect the Mahomes ego? That's a story for a different day, right? But hopefully, the Kansas City Chiefs and Brett Veach have learned from the mistakes of the Green Bay Packers and include him in the decision, since he is your franchise player. Since we all know what happened with him with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Mike says John Gruden hooked Mark Davis up with Chucky's barber. That's kind of money turns at any hoe into a housewife. Mike, we know you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Come on, baby. Let's Go Sports says Kelsey's replacement is in the draft. Joshua Simmons from South Carolina, strong, fast, and versatile, leading receiver on the good 9-3 South Carolina SEC team. Watch his film; he's really, really good. We did the Picks and Punters did watch his film today, and I do not think he is going to go late in the first round. He is probably going to be the second tight end off of the board. Let's Go Sports. He is damn good. All right, guys. So it is time for a little bit of over and under. Guys, this AFC South over under is the win totals for the NFL 2025 NFL season. As you guys know, the betting lines have come out, and we are going to start on the AFC South. We're going to work our ways around the NFL landscape, and we're going to determine if it's over or under said number of wins per the betting lines. So the first up here is we do have the Houston Texans. Guys, the Houston Texans right now are set as betting favorites at 9.5 wins in 2025 NFL season. So when we look at the Houston Texans to determine if it's going to be over or under, we have to look at their schedule, right? Obviously, the schedule does not come out until June. So this is pre-draft. This is pre-schedule release. This is strictly going off of what we know for the Houston Texans going forward. So we do know that they will play the Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders, the Buffalo Bills, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all at home this season. And then they'll play the Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, Rams, Seahawks on the road, including the Colts twice, the Jaguars twice, and of course the Titans twice as well. Last season, the Houston Texans did finish 10-7. First place in the AFC South. They did have a wild card win over the LA Chargers before losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. Also in 2024, they've seen some offensive woes. They're 22nd ranked overall offense in 2024, but they did have a 6th ranked defense in 2024. To help with some of their offensive woes this past season, they added receiver Braxton Berrios and Justin Watson, and they brought in some offensive line help in Laken Tomlinson, Cam Robinson to help with that terrible offensive line. Now, when we look at the Houston Texans, guys, 9.55 wins, I think to me is a very troublesome win total there, right? Because if you get a 9 wins, that's still a pretty decent season. That's still a playoff-bound season. And a 10 wins, to me, I think it's a great season. So, like, you were kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're at a 9.5 bet total for the Houston Texans. But I do think that the Houston Texans sweep the Colts this season. I believe it was Mellow Mike said last night that D'Amico Ryans is 5-1 versus the Indianapolis Colts. And I think that trend continues. I think they sweep the Colts. That is 2 wins, right? And then I think they sweep the Tennessee Titans as well. The Tennessee Titans are just a bad team. That is terrible. So there's 4 wins. And then I think they split with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that gives them 5 wins on the season right off the bat before we go into those other games. The Broncos at home. Give me the Houston Texans in that game. They're going to beat down the Broncos. The Broncos are going to come back down to reality in 2025, and they're just not going to be very, very good. They beat the Raiders as well. Right there is seven wins. Now, the Cardinals will be better. 49ers will be better. Bucks will be better, and the Buffalo Bills will be better. If they can sneak one of those 4 games out, whether it's the Bills, Cardinals, 49ers, or Bucks, that will give them 8 wins on the season. So I do think that they will beat ultimately the Arizona Cardinals in 2024, and they'll lose to the Bills, 49ers, and Bucks all at home. So right now we're sitting at 8 wins. 8 wins. So they need 2 wins to get the over. They're not beating the Chiefs. They will beat the Chargers on the road. They're not beating the Ravens. They're not beating the Rams. It all comes down to the Seattle Seahawks. So sitting at 9 wins, the over-under is 9.5 wins, and the Seattle Seahawks is a potential to put them over or put them under. Guys, as of April 3rd, 2025 at 10:12 p.m. East Coast time, I'm picking over on the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans are a 10-win team this season. They have a very favorable schedule. Their division is terrible. There's 5 easy wins there, right? And then they play the Broncos and Raiders and the Cardinals, all going to be okay teams, not great teams, very, very winnable games. And then the Chargers and Seahawks are true wild cards there. And I think they ultimately do get 10 wins in the 2025 NFL season. So, guys, Houston, Texas, 9.5 wins, over or under. Let me know. Next up, we do have the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are sitting at 7.5 wins of this over-under 2025 NFL season. And the Colts play the Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals, 49ers, Dolphins, and Falcons at home this particular season. They also play the Steelers, Chiefs, Chargers, Rams, Seahawks, all on the road. Despite of how bad the Indianapolis Colts were last season, they finished second place in the AFC South, finishing at an 8-9 record. They had quarterback issues with Anthony Richardson tapping himself out versus the Houston Texans. Joe Flacco just flat out sucking, but they did end up being the 13th ranked total offense in 2024. Their defense, however, was terrible. The 29th ranked defense in the NFL in 2024. This offseason, they did bring in Daniel Jones to help at that quarterback situation, and they did bring in Charvarius Ward from a former San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs, Bynum, Neville Gallimore to help with that piss poor defense. Now, in the division, I think the Indianapolis Colts do get swept by the Texans. I think they split with the Titans and they split with the Jaguars as well. There is 2 wins. So can we get 6 wins from the rest of these games? It is going to be tough. It is going to be tough because the Colts and Broncos always play each other very, 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 very well. I think the Broncos are going to have a down year. I think they're like their playoff system thing last year was kind of going to be short-lived. So I think the Colts beat the Broncos. I think they lose to the Raiders, they lose to the Cardinals, they lose to the 49ers, all at home, but they beat the Falcons and they beat the Dolphins. So right there is 5 wins on the season. Please note, though, that Lucas Oil Stadium is a very, very tough place to play. I have season tickets to the Colts. I just got them. I got a great deal. We're on the lower level on the end zone, so I could see a lot of Colts games this season. But 5 wins so far. Now on the road, Steelers, Chiefs, Chargers, Rams, Seahawks. We are looking for 3 more wins. Can the Colts beat my Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium? They can, and they have. Let's flash back to playoffs back in 2013 or whatever the hell it was. I don't think they win this year, but I do think they beat the Chargers on the road, and they beat the Seahawks on the road, giving them 7 wins. So over under 7.5 wins for the Indianapolis Colts, guys. I got to go under. I do not see the Colts being very good this season. 5, 6, 7 wins is right where they're going to be. Over 7.5 is going to be a reach. They are going to have a losing season, and they're going to have quarterback issues, and Anthony Richardson will ultimately be traded by the end of the season. So what do you guys think? Over, under 7.5 wins for the Indianapolis Colts. Next up, we do have the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans over under win total for 2025 is 5.5 wins. Now, if you are a betting man, this is right where you want to be. The Titans are not going to be very, very good. They play the Chiefs, Chargers, Rams, Seahawks, and Patriots and Saints at home this season. And then on the road, they play the Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals, 49ers, and Browns. Very, very winnable games. They did finish the season last year at 3-14, fourth place in the AFC South, but they do got the first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Despite that 3-14 record, they had the second-ranked defense in 2024. Guys, wrap your head around that. The Titans were 3-14 last season, and they still had the second-ranked defense in 2024. They did have the 26th ranked offense in 2024, however, which is why they lost majority of their games. This offseason, they did bring in quarterback Brian Allen, Van Jefferson, Dan Moore to help on the offensive side of the ball, and they brought in a lot of guys and re-signed them on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I do think the Titans do get swept by the Texans. They split with the Colts, but I do think they sweep the Jacksonville Jaguars. For whatever reason, the Tennessee Titans always step up and play the Jacksonville Jaguars very, very well. So that right there is 3 wins. We are over halfway there. Can we get 3 wins out of the rest of the season? Are they beating the Chiefs? No. Are they beating the Chargers? No. Are they beating the Rams? No. Are they beating the Seahawks? No. Are they beating the Patriots? No. Are they beating the Broncos? No. Are they beating the Raiders? No. Are they beating the Cardinals? No. 49ers? No. Browns? Yes. They are beating the Cleveland Browns. So I got 4 wins for the Tennessee Titans in 2025. So over under 4.5 wins, guys, for the Tennessee Titans. I am going under. 4 wins for the Tennessee Titans, guys. Obviously, this is pre-draft, pre-OTAs, pre-schedule, all that lineup stuff, right? But I got to go under. I don't like the Tennessee Titans this season at all. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a team that is a head-scratching team, right? They are projected at 7.5 wins in 2025. They play the Chiefs, Chargers, Rams, Seahawks, Jets, and Panthers all at home. They play the Cardinals, Bengals, 49ers, Raiders, and Broncos on the road. They've also finished 4-13 last season, with Trevor Lawrence missing 7 games. They had the 25th ranked offense and the 31st ranked defense. Leon Conan came in Duval and gutted everybody. That Jacksonville Jaguars team, if you had a little bit of fat on you, you got cut out and threw to the wolves. They gutted everybody this offseason, but they did bring in some potential plausible help. They brought in Jordan Lewis, Mick Mullins to be a backup quarterback, Eric Murray, Patrick McCarkey, which is a guard from the Ravens. They brought in center Robert Hainsley. They brought in wide receiver De'Ami Brown, tight end Hunter Long, and offensive tackle Fred Johnson as well. They pretty much rebuilt the whole offense through free agency. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a team that I think is going to be either really, really, really good or really, really, really bad. There is no 7, 8, 9, 10 win for them. They're either 13 wins or 3 wins. So I do think they get swept by the Titans. They split with the Texans. They split with the Colts. So right there off the bat is 2 wins. We're looking for 6 wins. 6 wins to get over the 7.5. Do they beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home? I do think they beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home. Jacksonville is a tough place to play, especially early in the season when it's hot, humid, whatever, right? I don't know the schedule, but I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs will play the Jaguars early this season. I think they beat the Chargers at home as well. There is 4. Rams, Seahawks, Jets, and Panthers. These are all kind of wild card games, but I think they beat the Panthers. I think they beat the Jets. I don't think the Jets are going to play very well down there in Florida either. They lose to the Rams and Seahawks respectively at home in close games. Right now, we're sitting at 6 wins. We're looking for 2 more road wins. Can they beat the Cardinals on the road? They cannot. Can they beat the Bengals on the road? They cannot. Can they beat the 49ers on the road? They cannot. Can they beat the Raiders on the road? Yes. And they have. They beat the Raiders. And I think they beat the Broncos as well, giving them an over of this season. So 7.5 wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. Over, under. I'm going over with them. Now, I like I said, I do think that they will be great or bad. I'm predicting about 9 wins off of this, but I could definitely see 11, 12, 13 win season for the Jacksonville Jaguars if things get right. Now, if it goes bad, well, for the day. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the comments here. I subconsciously skipped those guys. That is my fault here. Mellow Mike says 3-1 against the Colts, 2-0 in Lucas Oil Stadium, Nico Collins Memorial Stadium. Nico Ryans, right? Or I mean, I guess yeah, Nico Collins is a receiver, right? I'm bad. Oh man, River Pigskin Pundit.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Says we will see, but the Raiders just got 2 head-busting linebackers and tighten up that defense. Raiders got a lot of holes to fill, Old Man River. Still got a lot of holes to fill. Let's Go Sports says Texans slide into that 4th seed in a terrible division every year, but lose in the divisional or wild card game. I believe it was Alpha Rob, Let's Go Sports, said this Tuesday night, that the Texans are forever a 4th place team. Right? For the foreseeable future, the Texans are forever a 4th place team. They're just teams above them that are better, that have easier schedules, right? Just it is what it is. Let's Go Sports says, I say the Colts are somewhere about 7 to 9 wins. So what their over-under was 7.5. That is tough. Old Man River says Texans are going to win that Gimme South. Let's not sleep on the Jaguars quite yet, right? The Jaguars got a team that always finds ways to get good, cheap wins versus good teams that catch good teams on a bad way, sneaky good wins. And honestly, Let's Go Sports, you were exactly right. For whatever reason, so if you guys have never been to Lucas Oil Stadium, I recommend you going to Lucas Oil Stadium. There are 3 fields that I absolutely love watching games at. One of them being Ford Field in Detroit, not a bad seat in the house. Second one, obviously being Arrowhead, not a bad seat in the house. And then the third one, actually probably my favorite place to watch a game is Lucas Oil Stadium. Granted, I guess it is my hometown stadium, and I've played this, and I've coached several state championship games there. But it is just a nice place to watch a game, and it always just it's headachingly loud, right? So people can just be talking, and it's just so echoey and so loud, and you always have a headache by the end of the game. Old Man River says they will be in the playoffs, but next year. Meaning who? The Jaguars. Mellow Mike says hand the ball to Taylor, guaranteed 6 wins, but I say 7 or 8. See, Mellow Mike, I know you're new here, but you are quickly becoming an everydayer, and you know that we do not waffle around here on the Man Hour. There's no waffling around on the Man Hour. The Colts are 7.5. So to say 7 or 8 wins, that's tough, baby. You got to go over or under. No, 7 or 8. Come on, baby. Come on. Football Productions 456 is what happened to the Cowboys. Should have been here at 9 o'clock, brother. We are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. What happened to the Cowboys is they made a splash, baby. They made a splash, and they got their quarterback of the future. I will clip it and tag you in it just for you. Oh, man, River says, your heart is showing there, Sparky. I don't have no hate. Let's Go Sports says you should do a live NFL draft show and show your first round reactions. That is the plan, brother. That is the plan. We actually have some shirts getting drawn up. Says, I feel a draft in here. It'll be arched, have the Man Hour logo and like in the middle, and Man Hour Draft 2025. But yeah, the plan is to actually try, fingers crossed, is to try to get a live show happening like we did a couple years ago with Combsy and Fitz. But Combsy's just too Hollywood now. Combs is too Hollywood for us, being a Chicago superstar over there. Or even a day 2 as well. We could definitely do day 1. Day 2 is going to be tough. Old Man River says Spagnola is getting any younger. True. Pepe says, to be honest, I have no idea what the Colts are even doing. Neither do they. Pepe, you were right. You are absolutely right, man. Nobody knows what the Colts are doing. Let's just call a spade a spade. They don't. All right, you guys. So it is time. We are 90 minutes into today's show. Guys, we are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. And for the foreseeable future, once the NFL or once the high school season starts, I will be MIA on Friday nights, but we have Mike Graves and my man Hoffy along with Combs holding down the fort. So guys, will still have 5 days a week, every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time, and potentially Sunday shows coming up as well once the NFL season starts. But it is Thursday. We have a beautiful segment called Did You See That? Guys, there's some 3 big news across the NFL landscape, and I want to make sure that you guys saw it. So I'm going to ask you, did you see that? First up here on the Did You See That is the Chiefs signed veteran safety Mike Edwards to a 1-year deal. Guys, Mike Edwards played with the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2023 and won a Super Bowl with them. Previously, before that, he did spend 4 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before joining the Kansas City Chiefs in 2023. In 2024, he did spend the year with the Buffalo Bills. He mustered up 1 whole tackle before getting shipped back to the Bucs for the rest of the season, where he mustered up 11 tackles. Now, obviously, 21 and 22 was his best season as a pro. We had 58 tackles and 3 interceptions in 2021. In 2022, he earned those $1 bills, y'all, having 112 tackles with 2 touchdowns as well. Now, this is clearly a death move, a death addition by the Kansas City Chiefs and their secondary. The Chiefs secondary took a huge hit last season with injuries left and right. So he is there strictly for a death piece, and he'll be behind Brian Cook and of course Jaden Hicks as they should be the week 1 starters. But I wanted to make sure you guys know that you guys saw that Mike Edwards did get signed by the Kansas City Chiefs and should anchor down that depth in the secondary in 2025 NFL season. Next up on Did You See That? My man, Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, guys, is the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he says the Bucs need to develop the, quote, a killer instinct to achieve greatness beyond divisional titles. Guys, to me, Todd Bowles always seems a nice, cool, and collective coach on the sideline. You really never see him get angry. He can never have a smile or a frown. He just kind of a stone cold face killer, right? Now, to have a killer instinct, you have to take over your coach's personality. And honestly, the stone cold, no emotion is not going to develop you that killer instincts. So, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 5 divisional titles in the row. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 divisional titles in a row with the Super Bowl win back in 2020. Now, Todd Bowles took over in 2022, and he has won 3 titles in a row. Since taking over as head coach in 2022, they lost in the wild card game. In 2023, they lost in the divisional round, and then last season they did lose to the Commanders in the wild card round as well. But guys, do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can get that killer instinct? Do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can get to the next level, get to the NFC Championship game, and potentially a Super Bowl with Todd Bowles? And I don't think so. But I just want to let you guys know, did you see that? Next up on Did You See That? Trey Hendrickson. Guys, this story just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Trey Hendrickson has basically said that he wants to be a Cincinnati Bengal. He just wants some bills, y'all. But in the process, the Bengals executive, Katie Blackburn, has come out and kind of hurt Trey Hendrickson's feelings. In an interview, which Katie does very, very few to little of those interviews, she said, and I quote, on the Trey Hendrickson's contract issue, says, I think he should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. Meaning, basically, we're offering him some money, and he should be happy that we're even offering him some money. She continues on to say that I think some of it is on him to be happy at some point, meaning take the money and shut up. And if he's not, Katie says, you know what? That is on him. But currently, Trey is the one holding up the contract issues. So, guys, first of all, did you see that Katie Blackburn said that about potentially a top 3, top 2 defensive end in the NFL? Arguably one of the best defensive ends in the NFL since 2020. Oh, you guys don't know about Trey? You don't know about the work that Trey's been doing since 2020? The last 2 seasons alone, Trey has had 17.5 sacks those 2 seasons respectively. In 2022, he did have, quote, a down year where he had 8 sacks, but in 2021, he had 14, and in 2020, he had 13.5. Guys, since 2020, Trey Hendrickson is second in the NFL in sacks. Second. The only person who has more sacks than Trey in this period is TJ Watt, which he has 73.5. Trey has 70.5. If he would have had a little bit more productive 2020, 22 and not been injured, he would definitely be the leader. Now, wrap your head completely around this. Wrap your head 100% around this. When we think of solid defensive ends, we think of Myles Garrett. We think of Nick Bosa. We think of TJ Watt, right? Obviously, TJ Watt has had the most sacks since 2020. You know who is third on the list? Myles Garrett, 68.5. Nick Bosa is right below that at 53.5. And then Micah Parsons is below that at 52.5. You know a person who you do not see up there? Max Crosby. Arguably a top defensive end in the league. He just signed a 3-year, $106.5 million deal, which averages about $35.5 million a season. And oh, by the way, Myles Garrett just signed the richest non-quarterback deal at a 4-year, $160 million deal, making $40 million per season. Myles Garrett is third on the list, and then Trey Hendrickson. So, Katie, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about Trey needing to, quote, take his money and shut up. This man deserves to get paid. This man has been putting in work since 2020. This man has been the second on the sack since 2020. This man is the lowest paid thing, period. Katie, understand that Trey Hendrickson wants to be in Cincinnati. Trey has not gone out there and really actively found a trade suitor because he doesn't want to leave. You pay Jamar Chase, you pay Joe Burrow, you pay T. Higgins. I understand it. Find some money to pay this man. Katie, pay Trey Hendrickson. But did you guys see that? Did you see that, baby? Oh, no. Oh, no. It's that special time of night, guys. We're the last 10 minutes of today's show, and we end every show with a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. Guys, fact or crap is very, very simple. We scour the old interwebs, and we determine what people are talking, or we see what the people are talking about, and we determine if it indeed is a fact or if it is a crap. Now, understand this. We love some Kirk Cousins here at but the Kirk Cousins trade rumors are starting to fly yet again. We let it dive down for one day. We sleep on it. We come back, and the rumors are flying yet again around all those social medias. Guys, even though Falcons general manager and owner both have said that they are not trading Kirk Cousins, the rumors are still out there. So, guys, fact or crap, the Cleveland Browns need to make a trade for Kirk Cousins. We talked about lost teams. We've talked about the Indianapolis Colts being lost. We've talked about the Raiders being lost. The truth is, the most lost team in the entire NFL is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are a lost team. They don't know whether they're coming or they're going. And what sucks about that is they were just in the playoffs just a couple years ago, but they're still lost. It is a complete roller coaster if you are a Browns fan the last few seasons. From making the playoffs with Baker Mayfield, winning a playoff game, to letting him go because Odell Beckham Jr. wanted him gone, to bringing in Deshaun Watson, to him not seeing the field, to leading it, going back to the playoffs with a fifth-string quarterback in Joe Flacco. It is crazy. But guys, let's be perfectly clear about this situation. Kirk Cousins has a no-trade clause, right? So even if the Falcons wanted to trade him, even if the Browns offered them the moon, the world, and their dog, Kirk Cousins can't say no. And let's just be flat out honest. Who wants to be a Cleveland Browns quarterback. Guys, as the facts are that the Cleveland Browns need to make a push to get Kirk Cousins. The facts are the Cleveland Browns should have made a push to bring in Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. The facts are that the Cleveland Browns should trade for Dak Prescott. They need themselves a quarterback to somehow to right the ship, to figure out their direction, to stop this whirlwind, to bring in a veteran quarterback to at least get yourself in some calmer waters. But Kirk Cousins is not going to Cleveland. Who in their right mind would want to go to Cleveland at this rate? Now, maybe if you're a younger quarterback, Trey Lance per se, or Zach Wilson, or Kenny Pickett, yes, Cleveland might be a valuable option. You might be able to right the ship. You might be able to get your name out there and potentially make a playoff behind a pretty damn good defense still. But Kirk Cousins, guys, will be 37 years old at the start of this season. He has a wife, he has kids, and they just moved and got settled just last season. Does Kirk Cousins, as a father, as a husband, want to deroot their kids yet again and move to Cleveland? Guys, the point of the matter is Kirk Cousins is probably going to be happy being a backup in Atlanta. He seems to like the city. His wife seems to like the city. The only reason why I know is because my wife follows his wife on Instagram, so they're friends, right? Whatever. But they seem to be happy in Atlanta. Me being the same age as Kirk Cousins, I would not want to uproot my family for a situation that's just going to be bad. The Clevelands are in a bad situation, as it might work out for him. They might be a little bit successful, but let's just be honest, it's going to be 1 or 2 years tops anyways. So I do think it is a fact that the Browns need to trade for Kirk Cousins. They should do everything in their power to bring in Kirk Cousins, but the truth is he's not coming. So what do you guys think? Fact or crap? Should the Browns trade for Kirk Cousins? I'm saying fact. Real McCoy says Cousins to Browns only works if the offensive line is great. He is a pocket quarterback. And honestly, Real McCoy, you are right. But the offensive line is not terrible. But I think Kirk Cousins will elevate that play of the offensive line because his ability to read the field. The reason why quarterbacks last season had such a disaster in Cleveland was because they could not really survey the field. And of course, Nick Chubb was hurt for 75% of the season. Nick Chubb is back, should be 100%. Kirk Cousins is back, should be 100%. You have a young receiving core, so you can run the ball, you can pass the ball. It makes it a lot easier on the offensive line when they're not packing the box with 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. But yeah, you are correct. You are correct on that. But guys, that's going to be it for today. That is going to be it for today. Oh, no, it's not, Buck. No, it's not. We got to talk about the Eagles. We got to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and potentially building a statue of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Guys, after the Super Bowl 50 win, the Eagles built a statue of Doug Peterson and Nick Foles outside after that Super Bowl win. With their most Super Bowl win, guys, fact or crap, will the Eagles build a statue outside of the stadium of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni? That is where we're going to leave that. That is where we're going to leave that, guys. Are they going to build the statue? You're right. We out.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in. Man, our NFL talk. I know that you're ready for more. They on the field, ready for war. Who's in the lead? I'm checking the score. We about to do it like never before. NFL live, uncut, raw. This is Man Hour NFL Talk. Let's go.